We are not going to do business with each other if we don't love it. It's got to be easy, lucrative, and fun. We got to love each other.
And every roofer out there that wants to be a multimillionaire,
come to an event with Lance. Find the people you're going to network with. Build your tribe.
I don't think people realize how much you give back. What's next for Tommy Mello? And I just say this all the time. You need drivers. Like Bill Rosel's a driver, Kelly's a driver, Jolin's a driver. Make sure, like, I can only drive so much, right? There's only one Lance Bachmann, right? But you need people that are going to drive it and lead every day. And if you don't, and these companies out there, and he said something, you can make a great living. I tell all my partners before they meet me, you're making a good living. You're making $200, $300, $400, $500,000 a year. You're, and over time, right? $500,000 over 20 years equates to $10 million you made.
And they don't make that money because they get taxed on that money and their lifestyle.
Correct.
Their lifestyle.
Where you make your money is on the exit. When someone's handing
build to sell, build to sell, build it to sell it.
That's why everything is. And people think I'm rude when I say that. When I came out with build it to sell it, LB Capital, people were like, he's rude, he's ignorant. Who says sells companies? Well, why are we all playing stupid to it? Like, that's the end goal. That's where everyone's going. And I did this. I broke this down, right? The average salary at LB Capital is probably somewhere between, for the average employees, 100 to 150, right? It's the average salary. But when we sell a company, they're getting anywhere between 300, 100, 500, $1 million bonuses, these people, right? Like,
yeah, and hopefully if you set up right, they're just paying capital gains versus no ordinary income.
So just think about that. You're getting life-changing. Someone said, what do you mean it's life-changing money? I said, the average mortgage in America, for the average person, is somewhere between $300,000 and $500,000 for the average human being. That's what the mortgage is, what they actually mortgage.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, if I'm giving you $300,000, $500,000, you could almost pay off your fucking house. If you had $1 million, you could definitely pay off your house.
Yeah,
that's life-changing to have that monkey off your back for doing your job, for believing, and then you go do it again. We sold 2 companies this year, Tommy. We sold Munns. We sold Shock. Like, that's like, we're going to sell another 2 either end of this Q4 or beginning Q4.
But yeah,
like, you're making real money, people. Like, why would you want to just keep making a salary?
Well, it's interesting, too, because there's a fine balance. I know my guys are getting recruited every day on LinkedIn. In fact, I wish I banned their LinkedIn. But they see these things, and I get it because our company's a great company and everybody would love to have them. So not only do I have to pay them well with great bonuses and make them a part of VIP at our size, but I also need to absolutely adore them and continue to fall in love with them every day because I know how important this teamwork. Literally, most of these people that are on my C-suite have been here 5 years, and they know how to deal with me, which is very hard. And now I've learned to be very patient with them. We have a lot of one-on-ones. And especially, like, I still am the driver of sales and marketing. And by the way, sales, in my opinion, is part of the call center, and it's part of PR as well. We could talk about that. But I'm not very hands-on with payroll and inventory and the fleet department. I'm not very hands-on. I rarely speak to the controller. Now, they're doing a great job, and that's what allows me to continue to drive what I'm really good at, is I jump on the phone. Here's what I did. I took back over as CMO of the company. I said, one of 4 things is going to happen. Number one, you need to hold us accountable. You're getting all the data. And you are going to come up with the plan, the marketing companies, the vendors I use. And they're all specialists, so there's a lot of them. There's not like one that does like LSA, PBC, and GMP and all that. And I said, number 2, the accountability means my C-suite and all my VPs are going to be on here. You're going to tell us why we're failing with our KPIs. And then we're going to have an answer from our perspective. We're going to get back to you the next week and tell you what our plan is. If we're hitting all the KPIs, then either you're going to eat your fee. You're not going to be able to make money on us for a while. That's an investment into the future. We're going to cut a lot of the spend with you, or we're going to find a new partner. And I said, that's the way this is going to go. And by the way, number 1 is the most important. Hold us accountable. Because my team needs to understand what's going on in this market to not why are we dragging? And then we pull the area managers in and some of the technicians in and let them know. I don't think anybody really understands. If you were to take your team and understand, and your CFO is provided, what it costs to actually run the call with the infrastructure of having a team. Like, one of the things I do at orientation, I tell them there's 12 things that they have, like, that we invest in. Like, we got the zero line, we got the torch line, if you have a problem, I got 5 guys sitting there to fix the job with you. Like, if you don't know what you're doing, Or if you call them for safety eyes, they're fixing that with the client rather than you making a dry run out there. And that takes a lot of investment. And nobody that I know in any company has this type of investments to give their people better opportunities. If you leave my company and go work for somebody, and I've had 3 of my top guys leave and come back, they said it's just not the same. There's no brotherhood. It's a lot of empty promises. That we were promised equity. They couldn't keep us busy. The opportunities weren't the same. We didn't know what we got paid. There was no good meetings. There was a lot of like smoke and mirrors. And they left on good terms. And I said, you got to do what you got to do for your family. I completely appreciate that. You gave me 2 weeks. You were respectful to the managers. I just want to let you know. And I keep in contact with them and they go, dude, liars. These guys are liars. When they come back, that literally, but they come back as a demotion. Now they got to work their way back up. And I'll tell you, like, I got right now 50 guys with an ownership stake in the company. And I want it to be more. That's just technician level, technician and installer level. And I'm like, I went to war for my guys with the PE guys.
Why do you think people don't give equity in their company? Because I give equity to almost every single person, right? Why do you think people, because that's how I have growth everywhere. People like, Lance, how do you do? Like, you know, I'm not even like, at least you could say you installed garage doors at one point. Like, at least you could say you sold, like, I can't even ever say I sold a roof, HVAC painting. Like, I never installed any of this stuff. I just jumped into home services because I saw the money everybody was making. And I was like, well, man, like this, no offense. I just took your playbook. I just took,
Yeah,
in her ride.
Ringy.
Like, I just went and learned.
I think you saw from Ringy that what's possible at a $3 million EBITDA. And he just owned a couple zip codes in North Phoenix. I'll tell you why people don't give away equity is it's difficult. It's difficult to even understand. I mean, it's even explaining arbitrage to the ordinary business owner is difficult. And they say, well, we work so hard for this. But they don't understand you're not giving anything away of where you're at today. It's the future. So if your business is doing $1 million of EBITDA, and that's why I talk about it. Ishmael always tells me, you're an idiot. These guys don't understand that. And I'm like, yeah, well, most of the guys you're around, the English is their second language, so they might not understand it. By the way, that's Ishmael's superpower, dude. He's the American dream for the Latino community.
Absolutely.
And dude, his following, I mean, I watch his stuff all the time. And he's got something special because like people come to this country and he proved that they could do it. But I like to explain hard things because when I was explaining what arbitrage was and what equity incentive programs or profit units or potentially even phantom equity was, it made a lot of sense. And the findings that I had, I did a whiteboard of me not doing it and me doing it. And it was really cool because I got to see 24 people buy their dream houses and put their kids up and do really cool stuff. But also the outcome for me was better. That's just a byproduct. It's like they ran faster. They worked weekends. They literally told their significant other and their families of why they're going to be committed and what's in it for them. And that changed everything. And watching the one thing that's scary, Lance, is a lot of people got a lot of money. The one thing that's scary is some people want to work to the next exit and go, I can't run like this anymore. I got enough money. So you got to understand at a transaction that we're going to be doing, I might have a couple of people that say, man, my goal is to keep, the insanity as much as I could off their brainwave. It's to not make them feel burnout. And some people are going to feel that regardless,
Well, I mean, I can tell you this, out of all the partners I have, this is going to shock you, I think. Scott McCasney is the only one still true. Well, that's not true because Munz's guys are still running. But one person left there. But Scott McCasney, like Cherry, he's just doing sales. Like the majority of guys pulled back. But you know Scott, my partner,
Yeah.
Rock, he's running and gunning still full still. Like after he sold. And I thought he was going to be done. Like he got 8
It's very rare for people to sell and still be motivated.
And he's running and gunning. And I was like, dude, I'm proud of you. Like, I'm really proud of him because I'm like, he's the only one. And, some of the guys at Munz are sales guys still and they're selling, but they're not. It's funny. I saw a thing by Patrick David and I just started laughing. I actually sent it out. I'm going to play it for you. And because you'll appreciate this because you'll understand.
Well, people lose motivation when they sell for sure. They got enough. That's why I think when the next deal will be so good for me because they're like, well, you worked.
Watch this. Watch this. This is
when I was number 2 to number 6.
This is watch this. This is actually
I
probably
heard this, yeah.
And I was like,
Make a lot of money when I'm the number one guy. The most money I ever made is when I was number 2 through number 6. Think about saying that. Let's think about taking 52 years to realize, 50 years to realize the most money you ever made was when you were the number 2 guy or number 6 guy. Because there's Bird who went number 1. The number 1 has got to sell the train. Number 1 has got to sell the vision. Number 1 has got to seem like even though we're about to go out of business, they're at peace. They're calm. They carry the bird. Sleepless nights. Your finances, you can't reveal to people if you're about to run out of money. We're going to make the expenses. We're going to make salaries. We're going to pay payroll. That's the number 1. Who wants that bird? Nobody wants that bird.
and I watched and I sent it out to people because if you think about it, you're used to dealing with it. I'm used to dealing with it. But most people aren't built to be the number one guy. And I always say this to people, this is America, the greatest country in the world. Go get your fucking dream. But being the number 2 through 5 guy in most organizations is really the best place to be if you have the right leader you're following. Like, I just truly believe that. You're going to make a shit ton of money without 90% of the risk.
Well, yeah, there's not as much risk involved. I will tell you that you put me in a pressure chamber, I think I do better. That's where I do my best. And very few people, like you, I'm a good test taker. Like you should see, I study and I like, even when I took the GMAT, I tested better than all my buddies. And I only studied for a 3 days. I read a book on how to beat the GMAT. And that just shows you pressure. But I'm just used to it. Like, look, I came from nothing. So you could take it all away. I'd be fine. I mean, literally my life wouldn't be over. I mean, I could live in a small apartment. I used to have a, 900 square foot. I drive a used truck, but it got me to where I wanted to be. It had air conditioning. Like these things, more money, more problems is real. I learned to live a different life now. But if you take it all back, I wouldn't be like Finnegan, my dog, and Huckleberry would be fine in a small place. Like I like having a chef and a driver. I like buying back time. I like flying first class. I like staying in a nicer hotel. But ultimately, it doesn't like. For me, that's not the satisfaction. The pursuit of the goal, hitting it and moving on, the goalpost keeps moving. And I got to tell you, dude, I'm having so much fun. And I will say, like, now it's about legacy. Like, I want to go where no one's ever gone. And people are like, well, what's the ultimate goal? I'm like, well, I see a clear path, for my family to have $5 billion in the next 5 years. So, and I'm like, well, that's great. What are we going to do with it? And that's why I'm looking more into philanthropy and stuff like that. But I don't think people, and I will not be working hours. I will be working like Jeff Bezos, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is where I'll make most of my decisions. But here's the deal. I just bought 8 seats to the Cardinals. And she's like, why are you buying 8? I'm like, because we're bringing people from A1 all the time. I'm like, dude, I want to bring some of my techs. I want to bring Luke, my COO. I want to bring my team. And she's like, well, shouldn't everyone else like A1 pay for this? I'm like, yeah, they could, but I decide who I want to bring. Some of the times it won't be A1. Like just like my EA, she doesn't work for A1. She works for me because literally I'm not going to get in trouble by saying she's working half time on other stuff on your real estate or your haircuts or all this other stuff. I want to read to you something that I thought was really interesting and you'll really dig this. So PayPal, you're really into personal branding and we've talked a lot about this and I think it's super important. And a lot of people just don't understand. They're like, so breaking, PayPal just hired a head of CEO content. Here's what you need to know. The job pays over $200,000 a year. The mission is simple. Make sure the CEO, Alex Chris, is visible and consistently posting. This is not about getting likes. It's about building trust with investors, inspiring employees, and keeping PayPal top of mind against competitors like Apple Pay and Google Pay. PayPal is proving that in 2025, the personal brand of the leader is as important as the brand of the company. Here's the key takeaways. Visibility is no longer nice to have for leaders. It is part of the business strategy. If your audience cannot see you, they will forget you exist. If they see you often enough with the right message, you shape how they think before you ever speak to them. The difference between a CEO who starts or shows up online and the one who does not can be millions in talent attraction, customer trust, and deal flow. And so I'm kind of pivoting my social media strategy a little bit, mostly going to be towards A1. Because out of the 52 guys that are graduating here in a week, 48 of them in that room raised their hand and said, I've been following you on social media. We came here because we wanted to work with you. And I said, well, you're working with me. You're my coworker. And that's cool. And I'm like, man, if I put all of my effort into that one thing, like, look, I could grow social media, get in more businesses and do a bunch of cool stuff. But here's what Dan Martell pulled out his $500,000 watch. We were on a call the other day. And he goes, why $500,000? Because that's how much I need to bring in an hour, 500,000, not 4, not 6, to be a billionaire a year. And he said, so that's what he goes, I say no all the time. The one lesson I took, Ben Hardy, no, say no, say no. Leaders say no. You say no more. You say no. You say no. I'm focused. No, 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 no. We can say yes to everything. When you say yes, you're saying no to a bunch of other things.
So I'll tell you something, you'll laugh at this, where you have to say no is, um, and like sometimes you make quick decisions. I got into the popcorn business and, the guy's a nice guy, but then after I got into it, and he wanted to be my partner for a lot of years with other stuff, but he's a friend of mine. So I was like, no, I'll do the popcorn with you, big deal. But then people don't realize the accounting comes into play, the marketing comes in, because LB Capital has to run and make sure it's ran legit, right? I can't get jammed up. And then I'm like, I sit him down, I'm like, listen, you're my friend. I'm just handing you back the business, keep all the money. I can't do this. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, it's not worth my time. Like, no matter if I grew this thing to $10 million in revenue, it's not worth my time.
Right.
I'm doing over 10 million a month in just roofing.
Right.
Like, I can't do that in popcorn, right? And just how much time. And I felt bad, but you have to say no. We were in the process. Bill wanted me to buy this AI company. And I think those guys. And Bill wanted me to partner with him. Bill was begging me. I'm like, Bill, we're not in the fucking AI business.
Yep.
Like, we got to stop chasing shiny objects here. And our core focus is going to be roofing. If you want to make as much money as possible for the next 15, 20 years, why do this? It's going to be in roofing for now. And we're probably going to fencing next.
Right.
But roofing is going to be our superpower. And every roofer fucking out there that wants to be a multimillionaire is going to partner with us, because we're just going to be having success after success. And that's what he's talking about right there. If you got to stay focused and make money and count it down by the hour. I mean, you get too many things, you get sidetracked.
It's 100%. When Dan Martell said hire a driver, hire a chef, I said, dude, you're stupid. I'm a humble guy. That's ridiculous. He made me write down a bunch of things, taught me to learn through a different lens and look through a different lens. And what I came up with was, man, what if I just focused 100% on A1 and the people? And by the way, podcasting is helping A1.
100%.
By the way, like going to these events is helping A1. So I want to be very clear that I need to learn from others. I get into a room. We just took for the Freedom Group. There's like 12 people in like the top program, and I went to Florida. And I got to tell you, some of these guys are doing 100 million plus. None of them are in the garage door industry, and I took more notes than they took. I mean, I put myself in an environment to learn, and that's it's crazy because we get to pick who we work with in the Freedom Group, and a lot of people, and Jim feels the same way. By the way, I don't do anything. I show up to these things and I share what's working with us, and they share too. But I'm not there to just, it's not the Tommy Mello A1 show. I'm there to learn. And Jim's been very, very like, I can't do that program. I can't do any of it. I will jump on a call a month and I'll answer questions, which helps me as I answer questions and become a pro at things. That helps me. I got a family office and we are making other investments. Most of the investments help A1. Most of the investments give me an opportunity to look behind. Like, I put $300,000 into Lace for like 1/4%.
Yeah.
All I asked was give us a preferred return, give us a preferred rate. Like, I owned a percent of a percent. It's nothing.
Yeah.
But I said, let me help Ford develop it better for A1. He said, done. And he asked for a ridiculous price, by the way. I didn't even negotiate. Zero negotiations. He said, send the money. My family office was like, what are you, crazy? I go, look, I just want to work with Boris to make this better for A1. That was strategic. And I do those strategic relationships. And I just realized, like, think about what you make at your core business. Now, listen, if you want to do something with your kids and do a badass lemonade stand or fix up a truck, that's completely different. And you want to do something with your cousin and invest to get behind him, maybe. Just realize you got to be able to have Thanksgiving together, and you got to have a prenuptial agreement. Like, who's responsible for what and how you wrap that? Because if you do stuff with family and friends, kids are different. But I think that's important, man. I think that if you really realize where your potential is and you figure out your hourly rate, like my hourly rate, think about it. Let's just say I'm a year out. It's in the millions per hour.
Listen, so here's something. Do you remember when I met you? I came out, did your podcast, and we talked. And I the one SEO still probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I'd like to know the day of that. And we became friends.
You had a funeral. You couldn't come. And Bill was like, I need to get Lance out. You remind me of Lance. Bill kept pushing for it, and then we finally got together.
But what you did was, and people don't realize this, you packed up you and Bree and came to my house. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And you guys stayed there with us, and we just hung out, and my kids were there. And, one thing I love about you is you do love kids. You're just a good guy. And so it makes, and you know how my family is to me. So it's just very important. But you're hanging out, and what people don't realize, we became friends. You asked me to be the keynote speaker that night in my backyard at Vertical Track. When you really started finding out how fucked up my childhood was, what I went through, you're like, Jesus Christ, and Lance, people have to hear your story. And I'm like, I don't know, man. And I did it. And this is why I tell people about what you're talking about, getting in the room. And I think people should go to Home Freedom. I think people should be going to all different conferences. Because if I didn't come out and do that podcast with you, it was your podcast at the time, and I didn't do that podcast, we don't become friends. We became genuinely good friends now. You take my call, I take your call, we talk. We've never done business together. Most people don't know that. People think, oh, we have to. We've never done business together, but yet we've hung out together, eaten dinners together, spent time together. I've learned from you. I think I told you actually what a search fund was. You didn't even
I didn't know what it was.
I think
I looked into it pretty deeply after that.
Would you ever sell the one? Hey, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Service Titan and Rilla, our technology of choice to helping us scale and grow our business and making sure all of our viewers have the technology to scale their business so when they want to sell it, they're able to.
No, I don't think those things are really, I don't think they make a lot of sense. Maybe in software, but if you get the right team, but yeah.
So what people don't realize is if I don't get into the room with you and do that, and this is why I say to people, people are so fucking short-minded, and I was. It changed the whole trajectory of my life. I speak at Vertical Track. I tell my story for the first time. My brother there's, my sister's there. I'm exposing hard truths about our family as they're sitting there, which is tough for them to hear because nobody wants that shit out in the open, right?
Right.
And then Travis Riggy comes on. And Travis Riggy just changed my life. And he doesn't even understand. I should really probably send him something to say thanks. I don't ever
He's
think
coming in here in a little bit.
Yeah. But I heard him telling his story, and you were telling it for him, believe it or not. And then I heard the numbers, and I was like, wait a minute, I own this HVAC company here. I can do that?
Yeah.
I didn't even, and now, I went now sold 6 companies, all because I call it the Tommy Mello, Travis Riggy effect. Where if I wasn't, and people don't understand, you have to pay to get in those rooms. You pay to get in the room with Dan Martell. You pay to get, but they change your life. They make you better. But so many people don't want to invest in conferences or they don't invest in the coaching.
No.
Can you talk? Because I think it's insane. Now I go everywhere and I'm not afraid to, without blinking.
Well, there's certain events I get a lot from. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I look at these events more about networking and I share things. And the more I share, Zig Ziglar said, you could have anything that you want in life if you help enough people get what they want. Dan Martell was in this room with me. And he said, Tommy, what changed for me is I started buying how I want to be bought from. He goes, everybody at SAS Academy would want to make a deal. They want to pay half price. They hit me up for tickets. And he goes, because that's what I did. He goes, literally, I used to negotiate everything. And he goes, so finally one day it clicked. Buy premium, pay premium, and implement quickly. And that profound moment in my life, everything changed. And I said, I just text Eric, my CFO at the family office, and I said, I'm probably going to deploy another $1 million into personal coaching this year. And he goes, who are you getting? I go, I don't know yet, but there's a few people I want, whether it's Patrick Bet-David or there's several people.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm not looking to and I say this as humbly as possible, I'm probably going to go way past their monetary level.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. I'm not going to them for that. But there's shortcuts. Like what I learned from Dan, I extracted everything I possibly could. And he told me the other day, I got to fire you. You're my last client I'm working with. I'm not doing coaching anymore. You're the last one. He goes, let's finish up strong. He goes, but here's what I'll do. I'm going to come visit you in Idaho. We're going to hang out. I'll answer your phone calls. You're a cool dude. He goes, you taught me just as much as I taught you. He goes, but Tommy, I got to say no to everything, and that's including coaching. I'm done. I'll do, group coaching, and it's an hour a month, but I'm so focused now. And I said, dude, that's his ability, that muscle he grew of getting out of things and saying no. That's something, because when I get on a call with him, I really respect what he's saying because he does what he says he's going to do. And when he says, I'm going to fire you, now I was paying him.
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about that hour, it's $30,000 an hour.
But people don't realize, but what you get, like, so, I have a driver, right?
Yeah.
And what I did was, you were getting coached by him. You got a fucking driver. Now, I would like my wife's cooking, so I won't get a chef. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I just won't do it. I feel bad for my wife because she doesn't have to cook every meal of mine because I just like her food. So
Yeah.
it's just, I'm a really simple guy. But I got a driver. And people are like, Lance, why would you get a driver? Your office is 15 minutes from you now. Well, it's not just a driver for me going back and forth to my office. It's right now I'm traveling here. He's driving my kids to Malvern practice right now, picking them up. I don't have to worry about their safety. He doesn't drink at all, doesn't do any drugs. I know him 20 years. He quit his Coke job to come be my driver. He's a driver at Coke. Like, it's a great situation. Instead of Ubering on a Friday night, if I want to go to a game, like, people don't realize I can work now. Like, when I'm driving to go down the valley.
Oh, I'm reading books. I'm on Zoom calls. I'm doing stuff.
Like, I don't have to worry about the fucking wheel. Like, and how
It's
much
just
that
amazing.
how much money am I making during that time?
One of the things that everybody should do is a time analysis. I think the best hire I've ever made was, and by the way, it's a very high paying job, my EA. But I'm not kidding. She goes on every trip. She runs my calendar. She's got a haircut coming over tonight, like, to my house.
Mhm.
Like, we were in Monterey this weekend and she scheduled everything. I interviewed the president of Shelby, the vehicles.
Absolutely.
And she got a house for us that was for sale for us to do. They revealed a brand new car. We did a
Yeah.
podcast. And I mean, like, I don't look at email. I don't remember the last time I went to email. I don't look at it. Now she filters and goes through, and she's getting an EA to handle my life. So the deal is, for me, is like, when you look at these things, I'll tell you, a lot of people, if you're the most talented person on your team, you're an egomaniac. You don't deserve to run a qualified business. Like, I could tell you, I cannot hold a stick to my COO. I can't hold a stick to my purchasing team. I can't hold a stick to my fleet department. Kate is amazing. I can't hold anything to Adrian and my FP&A team. There's 6 people now, the financial planning and analytics team. The software team, I continue to drive that team probably harder than any. And I'm like, if money was no concern and I had 1,000 more people, what would you do? And they say, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, let's do it. I'm like, I believe technology right now is going to be technology and tripling down on training. I'm going to train, and then we get done training, I'm going to train again. I'm training again, training again, because these 52 people graduating this month don't really matter if they don't leave the customer a raving fan. And we show our value. We get out there the same day. We smile. We play with the dog. We care. We offer coffee. And by the way, it's not something you're trained with necessarily. It's how you treat human beings. I don't think you go to the most grand hotel in the world, the Ritz-Carlton or wherever it might be. Those people genuinely ask, Mr. Bachmann, how are things going today? Are you doing good? Is there anything I could do for you? Do you have a headache? I'll go get Advil for you. I literally we stayed at a nice hotel. I was like, yeah, Advil would be great. They're like, we don't have it here. We'll come back right, sir. There's a Walgreens across the street. I had a guy take somebody's garbage out the other day. I think I'm buying a tire pump, and we're going to fill every single person. We're going to check their tires. Just one other thing to do. Like, if there's a little old lady, I want you to shovel her snow when you're in Minnesota. Like, I want to go above and beyond. And that's just something that other companies don't do, but you got to find the right people that want to do that stuff.
Funny, I stayed last night at the Arizona
Grand, yeah.
Grand, and it was nice. I mean, it's older, you could tell, but it's a nice little place. But we get there, and I don't know how they knew who I was, but there was a card in my room. There was complimentary food, and it was a nice card saying, I hope you enjoyed your stay. You're not being charged here. We would love to host a roofing conference here in 2026. And I was like, no, like, that's someone paying attention at the wheel. Like, that's someone paying attention to what's going on, because I didn't book the room. My EA booked the room. I know she didn't tell him about the roofing conference. There's no way Joel Lisa did, right? Like,
Yeah.
So how did you know this information? How did you get this information? And what's a free room to them? I mean, that place has how many rooms there? Probably 500?
Yeah, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
So what's a free room to them? And what's some popcorn?
Especially, this is not what we consider season at all. So to make your day, it left a great impression, and chances are you're most likely going to do it. And I don't think people understand that as going above and beyond is something that you really, the best recruiter in the world. Like Dan asked me one day, he goes, close your eyes. And I really want you to contemplate this question. He goes, forget 10X, you know, the Grant Cardone thing. He goes, let's go 20X. If you're going to 20X next year, what would you need to do? And I really thought about it. I said, I have to become the best talent magnet in the world, the best recruiter, the best orientation specialist, the best trainer. I'd have to update my systems. I'd have to renegotiate with vendor. Like I made a list, and that was the beginning of what I knew I had to do. So how do you become a magnet for great people? And there's a fine line becoming cocky online and spotlighting people winning on your team. So how do you spotlight when a guy buys a new truck or buys a new fifth wheel or buys a new home or has a new kid and he says, I feel great because I make a great living and I've already started a savings account. So if you could highlight those stories, you start becoming this magnet. And if I just put all my time into this, in my first book, The Home Service Millionaire, I told a story about Dave Carson. I said, dude, I don't like to put all my eggs in one basket, dude, you know, if they fall. He goes, what if you put all your eggs in one basket for a year? Because it would overflow. He goes, what if you just focused? Racehorses wear blinders for a reason in the Kentucky Derby. And that's one thing I got to keep telling myself, man, shut that down, focus on this. And it's hard for entrepreneurs. It's so hard for me and you. Like literally, we've got ADD, which is a superpower, but we see this grand scope of everything we know we could do. Like I know dude, I did 315 for 10 yesterday. Like I know if I put my mind to working out, I can do 400 for 10. So whatever you put your mind into, it'll grow exponentially, but popcorn's not the solution.
No, and that's not a shot. Like, listen, my biggest struggle, and people don't realize this is, and I say it all the time, is my children. Like, and I love my children, so I'm not saying it's time with my children. It's a fucking, you can't even call it a balancing act. It's torture because people are like, because I coach my kids in football, I coach my kids in wrestling. I won't change that. And I'm like, but I just want you to think about it. 5 to 8 every night. That's 3 hours, right? That's times 5. That's 15 hours. That's 60 hours a month. That doesn't include any games, anything else. It's literally 80 to 100 hours a month I'm investing in my children, just sports-wise. Imagine if I could take that energy and put it into work. And I say to my wife all the time, so you seem like you struggle with it. I'm like, how do you not struggle with it? I'm like,
I want you to think about this, though. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, there comes a time, Richard Branson, that literally your team becomes stronger than you, and you just got to make key. And so one of the things I learned from, especially Jeff Bezos, is he needs to read the newspaper for an hour. He needs to eat. He needs to do his daily stretching, his workout. He won't make a decision before 10 a.m. And he doesn't make a decision. He's not out visiting every plant. So there becomes this shift to do less, to become more, and to love yourself more, and to become the best version of yourself, to make critical decisions. So what I used to think was me behind a desk working 12 hours a day, I was getting more done. What I realized was when I had a clear head and I was working out and I had life balance, and me and Bree go on trips. I mean, I had a guy yesterday call me up. He's like, dude, I've never seen anything like it. You're at the car show. You're doing this. You're doing this. I'm like, I got to make time for Bree. She's my fiance. We're going to have kids. I got to make time for that. I was with my dad last night on the golf sim. Like, end of the day, you got to work hard, but you got to love what you do. But you got to put in the work the first 5 years.
100%. This is a thing. Now I have the option to be with my kids. Like, I'm very fortunate. Like, me not making any, I can never make another penny today. Me and my family are going to be fine.
You'll be set.
But we set for life. So, like, that's where, I'm very fortunate for that. Listen, let's talk real fast. We got a few more minutes left. I don't want to hold you up. We're actually going to make this into 2 series, guys. I think this was great content, right? What's next for Tommy Mello? Because you give so much back to the community. I don't think people realize how much you give back. Home freedom, you don't make no money off of that. No. People don't realize that. And I laugh because people are like, oh, Lance, you must make money at the roofing conference. I'm like, I don't make any fucking money. Actually, I lost money last year. I'll probably lose a little bit this year, hopefully break even. It's my way of giving back and help build the community. And hopefully through other avenues, it comes back to you, right? But what's next for Tommy Mello? And because you're getting married to Bree, who...
Phenomenal, yeah.
You're lucky to have her, right?
Yeah.
She's definitely... A1's going to sell in the next 24, 36 months. Yeah. I mean, nothing's stopping that at this point. What's next for you?
Well, I'm building a house in Idaho. I'm building a house in PV. Spending a lot more time with mom and dad. My brother-in-law is the CEO of the family office. We're just identifying where we want to travel, how we want to live. But dude, here's the deal. I don't go to a party and talk about football. I don't go to a party and talk about the golf tournament. I don't go to a party and talk about kids. If a kid comes to me and says I'm starting a popsicle stand, I will spend 3 hours talking about a business plan. That's more exciting talking to a 10-year-old than these old guys drinking beer, talking about who they wish they could be about other people. So I don't know, man. I don't think I'm going to change very much, but I'm learning how to live this new life. We donated a lot to the church this year. I'm starting to get way more involved with that. Not as much as I'd like to. Like I said, I'm a work in progress. I don't want to be this complete liar. I want to spend more time praying and with God. And I'm making more time for myself. But dude, I'm ready to live, man. Keegan lives on the lake. Tom Howard's buying a house on the lake in Idaho. Travis Ringy lives up there. Ishmael bought a property up there. Yano comes up there. Like, you're going to come up there. That's going to be my little sanctuary. We just bought 122 more acres. There's farm animals on there. There's goats. There's chickens. There's a 9,000 square foot lodge. There's going to be, we bought snowmobiles already. Like, dude, I'm ready to live my best life. And I don't even call it balance because most of the time I'll work hard till 3 p.m. I'll get up early. And then it's like, man, I want to go fishing. I want to have my family. I want to go golfing. I want to do fun shit. So I'm going to continue to do what I do, and I'll invest in other companies over time. And you talk about your playbook. My playbook's pretty dialed in, but it needs the right leadership team.
100%.
And I'm never going to do anything small again. I'm telling you right now, I'm not investing in $1 or $2 million companies unless there's a roll-up strategy, because I'm just not interested. I just sent this to my team, and I know we got to go here. I just want to play this last thing. You'll really appreciate this. So I sent this to the family office guys.
If I could come back, I'd probably come back as a roll-up specialist. Because if you take a look at some of the wealthiest people in the world, they did roll-ups. Basically what they did was they went to small private companies, let's say third generation private companies in which the fourth generation doesn't want to take over. They come in, they say, you know what?
It's everything we know. But it's like, dude, like, yeah, there is a path for me to do this stuff. And we're building the playbook at the family office, which it took me years to build. And the playbook is we're learning. We're learning. And I'm going to put everything in an escrow account. So if me and you do a deal, let's just pretend you're $1 million and we just met. And you want to do a deal and I'm going to give you $6 million. I'm going to say, listen, you could take out a certain amount, but it stays in an escrow account. At 6 months, we evaluate. And you pay me the money back plus the upside. You're going to have an SBA in place of what we fix. But here's the deal. It's got to be easy, lucrative, and fun. We got to love each other. And the deal is I'll set you up. You'll see what we can do the first 6 months. It'll take a year for us to really start making things move. But we are not going to do business with each other if we don't love it. And I'm never going to get myself into a situation where I don't love it. And dude, there's restaurant investments coming to me every day and all this other shit. And I'm like,
Don't do it.
No. Stay away from even the real estate stuff that comes your way. I mean, literally, unless it's personal real estate. Because I understand home service. I spent a long time. I spent 20 years to understand this. Where's the best use of I put a lot in the S&P because I can't deploy all the money.
Yeah.
I got to have it at the best internal rate of return that I could get. But, you know, here's what you should do. Here's what I think everybody should do listening. Make a list of what they want to do for every person they know, friends, family, coworkers, and figure out a way to make those things happen. Your number is not my number, and Lance's number isn't my number. And really what I want to start to learn is, how do I live just off the compound interest? That's it. I never want to touch the principal. And so if we could do that, listen, I think more people that spend time with me and you, they'll understand that they got to be open to new ideas. Because me and you,
100%.
the first day I said double your prices, I saw you talking to Bill and everybody, and you went double your price the next day. You lost like 2 clients, you told me.
100%.
And all of a sudden, man, you started printing money, and not everything I say is smart. Not everything is right for your company. Not everything's the right prescription right now. I believe in Dan Antonelli, but if you got your last 30,000 and you can't afford to freaking make payroll, maybe don't get rebranded today if that's your last 30 grand, but you should get rebranded. So I try to give out things that I've tried and true. Like, I believe in Boris. I don't believe in Lace. I believe in Boris. There's a big difference between software. I believe in service type, but I believe more in Ara and Vahe.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, I get behind the people more than the product.
Listen, thank you for being here. I appreciate it, brother. If you want to get in touch with Tommy, how does someone get in touch with you, brother?
Yeah, so TommyMello.com. You can find all my social handles, and TommyMello.com/shop. You can come do a shop tour. Don't charge for that. And obviously Freedom, freedomevent.com is going to be.
When is Freedom?
It's September 3rd through the 5th. And, you know, this year I'm along for the ride. I'm barely speaking. I'm letting Jim do his thing. And Jim is, I'm telling you, me and Jim have become super close. Jim's a brain, and I know Jim could go do everything on his own.
Oh, he's a smart guy, man.
So the deal is, I want to make sure Jim's happy. I want to make sure he's living his best life. He's an entrepreneur at heart, so I got to kind of foster that entrepreneurship, and I'm giving him all the autonomy. By the way, I don't want to be the guy. I love going on stage, but I don't want to be. There's so many decisions and so many people. You know, Tom said, "Am I speaking this year?" I'm like, Tom, no. Like, dude, call Jim. Everybody call Jim. So, and I'll tell you guys, come to the shop, come to an event. Come to an event with Lance, whatever it is, find the people you're going to network with. Build your tribe.
No doubt. Thank you, Tommy.
Thank you.
We're here.